It's weird girl core time. I've talked about too many men with issues. It's time to talk about women with issues. Sunji may be a freak, but swooning over seeing Robin holding a skull? Yeah, he was a real one for that one. Because me too. She's this sexy archaeologist with a lot of hands and a lot of fingers. What will she do with them? Well, that's up to you. Her calm collection truly juxtaposes her dark sense of humor, mainly because, is she just joking? Well...
自信満々だな。何が得意だ？
暗殺。
取り調べの結果危険すぎる女だと判明。
Who knows? But if she wasn't, I'd risk it all. Would risk it all. She's certainly not opposed to any interesting methods of torture. I mean, I say torture, but who hasn't wished they were in Frankie's position during the iconic bull crushing scene? Honestly, Robin is one of the funniest members on the crew. While she doesn't tend to have outright slapstick comedy, her straightforwardness in more bleak situations will always guarantee a laugh. It could be possible her bluntness comes from her past, considering she didn't really have a silver lining when she was a child, and it would make sense that her grim yet logical thinking has materialized into a twisted form of dark humor. She also seems to have an affinity for handsome men, her taste in Jinbei not unwarranted, but probably weird for some.
お前か。なぜ俺たちを助けてくれたんだ。
色男の頼みは断れないの。お礼ならジンベエ親分に。
Don't worry, Robin, I get it. Jinbei is an absolute beast of a fishman, and I also would not be able to deny him. Now, when it comes to One Piece women, well, I said it in my One Piece video. They don't exactly look the greatest because... yeah, there are a few issues here and there, but the writing of the women is just insanely good, especially on the Straw Hat crew. And Robin is definitely an amazingly written character, both in personality and in backstory. Her personality is just strange. I say this in a good way, of course. She's certainly the definition of an odd girl, and she has a mysterious, mature appeal to her that can be alluring to many. I would also like to add that her nickname, the Devil Child, is so raw. Context aside, it goes so hard. Immediately, Robin herself goes so hard just for being known as that. But we'll get back around to what that name actually means. But before we deep dive into the beautiful babe that is Nico Robin, it's sponsor time. This video is sponsored by Tokyo Treat and Sakura Co. Have you seen any delicious tasty treats in anime and manga that you wish you could try? Are you craving the goodies and sweets you can only get exclusively from Japan and nowhere else? Well, look no further, because Tokyo Treat and Sakura Co. are inviting you to experience the goodies of Japan from the comfort of your own homes through the delicious snack boxes. Tokyo Treat is a monthly pop Japanese snack subscription box, where you will get up to 20 of the latest, most exclusive limited edition and seasonal flavored Japanese snacks that are only available in Japan for a limited time, such as Sakura Pepsi, Japanese sake Kit Kats, ramen, and much more. Sakura Co. is also a monthly Japanese snack subscription box, but it supports local Japanese snack makers. And each box comes with 20 traditional, authentic, and artisan Japanese snacks, including Japanese teas and a special Japanese tableware. I'm personally a fan of all the sweet treats myself, because no one does candy and chocolate quite like Japan, especially in Osaka. Both of these boxes do monthly themes, with Tokyo Treat currently having a My Snack and Valentine theme, where you can experience a true Valentine's Day in Japan with heartwarming sweets like Kit Kat Lucky Daifuku, Super Mucho Sour Plum Chips, Karai Spicy Ramen, and many more. Sakura Co., on the other hand, has a Valentine's Bliss box. This is an extra special box, as they're partnering with the Osaka Prefectural Government to introduce you to Osaka's easy-to-love treats and tea in a special design box. These artisan Japanese treats include strawberry dorayaki, chocolate mochi, and kinako dumplings. Get it while it's hot, because Osaka definitely has some of the tastiest sweets around. Here's the Sakura Co box that they've sent me. As you can see, it's quite reasonably sized and they packed a lot into it. Please ignore my little law mousepad on the side there. I just forgot to move them for this unboxing. When we open it up, we can see there's actually quite a lot of little things in here. It originally didn't look like this. I was just far too excited when I got it and I ate a few things. The things I ate were the yuzu kuzuyu, the kinako dumplings, and the strawberry dorayaki. They were all delicious, especially the kinako dumplings, and I highly recommend getting this box because, as you can see, there's just tons of little stuff in here that It's really all authentic and quite cute as well. Like the little cat biscuit is not only delicious but just adorable to look at. And here's the bowl that I've gotten with this box as well. I would turn it to the side, but then you'd see a reflection of me and that's quite embarrassing. But I've taken a photo here and you can see the little patterns on the side, and it's just cute to use as a little rice bowl or even like a little miso soup bowl if you ever have any rice or miso soup around, I suppose. And here is the Tokyo Treat box. This one is much bigger and is untouched. This is how it looks upon first opening with everything in it. As you can see, the Valentine theme goes extremely hard and there's a lot of stuff in this one and very big packages, I must say, with very generous proportions, and it's just absolutely worth looking into one of these boxes or just getting one of these because the candies and the treats and the chips and even the ramen on the side here is lovely. So thank you Sakurako and Tokyo Treats for sending me these boxes because I have been digging into them and everything is delicious in these, so you can't really go wrong. You'll even learn more about the snacks you receive, as well as important allergen information with the included booklets for each box. All these booklets containing a wealth of information about Japanese culture. These boxes are well packaged and are packed with a lot of love. And I'm enjoying every single one I get. If you're a snack lover yourself, I highly encourage you to try these monthly snack boxes out and get your own little slice of the sweet side of Japan. It also makes for a great Valentine gift for loved ones or even just for yourself. If you want to give it a try, don't forget to use my code to get $5 off for your first box. Be sure to check the links below. And thank you so much Tokyo Treat and Sakurako for sponsoring this video. Okay, back to Nico Robin. From the beginning, Robin had a very curious introduction, considering she was introduced to us as a villain, going against Vivi no less. But the most interesting part about her is she didn't want to kill the Straw Hats, when she probably very much could have. After all, she disarmed Zoro in literal seconds when they met up again. Oh, the Zoro fanboys are not gonna be happy about that one. She was single-handedly sailing the seas on a turtle's back, being known as Missile Sunday within the Baroque Works Syndicate. And considering at this point we've seen just how hard it is to sail the seas of the Grand Line, I'd say give her credit where credit is due. Because yeah, that's threatening. But once again, she didn't take out the Straw Hats, and even offered them a route to Alabasta. From the get-go, we could tell perhaps she wasn't all that she seemed. Maybe she was more than this malicious criminal who'd blow things up for show. It makes it more obvious there's much more to her when discovering Igaram was actually alive. Because there's no doubt, if she wanted him dead, he'd be dead. Yet, that explosion did no such thing, and it seems Robin is opposed to killing anyone she doesn't have a personal grudge against. Also, real quick, god do I miss her cowboy drip. The fact she's from the West Blue makes it go even harder. Truly the baddest bitch in the West. It goes without saying that Robin's addition to the crew came as a shock. I wasn't there at the time, but I can imagine it was a sudden twist, especially right after leaving Vivi. It's even stranger that Luffy immediately accepted her request, considering she was part of the organization they had just fought against. And with the entire crew, Sanji not included, telling him no. But when you think about it, and you think about the little interactions they had, it does make sense. Luffy saved her life when she didn't ask for it. She told him she wanted to die. And Robin told Luffy that that's his crime. The thing we need to look into here is, did Luffy accept her just because he felt responsible for that? Personally, I don't think so. As I've said many times before, Luffy is extremely good at reading people, and he tells his crew not to worry because she isn't a bad person. He even said to her previously that he doesn't have to listen to her. So why should he listen to her now, when telling him to take responsibility for something he's done? If Luffy thought she were a bad person, he would have kicked her from the boat. But he obviously saw something in her. And honestly, it is very easy to see that Robin isn't a bad person from the start. It was pretty confusing to have her join them at first, considering she gained everyone's trust by giving them what they liked. And Zoro was the only one to hold out and be distrusting of her. In my opinion, this is a great contrast in Luffy and Zoro's personalities, and why Luffy's reading of character is what makes him exceptional as a captain. Robin's reasoning for joining the crew is because Luffy saved her life, even after telling him she wanted to die. I don't think a person who just wants to end it due to one reason or another is a bad person. Her Baroque Works background can be difficult to look past, but we immediately see she's given that all up with her wish to die. We know she's telling the truth, especially Luffy, since he watched it unravel, and there's only one conclusion he would have come to. Robin isn't a bad person, she just has a deep sadness, and that's probably what Luffy saw. That moment they had together, of Robin's want to die, became a key part of her character and her relationship with Luffy. The question here is, why did she want to die? There's the obvious, like the insistent pursuit of the government, but there's also a main core to it, and that's what we see in Water 7. Much like what Whole Cake Island did for Sanji, Water 7 showed us the true colors of Robin's character. And Oda putting arcs between Robin's backstory is what shows his exceptional writing ability, because while he's building the audience's care for her, he's also building something within Robin's outlook on life. I know that apparently a lot of people skip Skypiea. I don't really know why, but for some reason it's an oddly controversial arc. But in terms of Robin, I think that's a very important arc to have. After all, we're seeing her first adventure with the Straw Hats. We're watching her discover the Straw Hats' unbreaking will and sense of adventure, while also seeing Luffy making miracles happen. During Skypiea, Robin watched the Straw Hats, especially Luffy, do the impossible, which was finding and fighting for an island in the sky. She's also protected by the crew, a notable scene of Zoro catching her after taking Enel's lightning, which begins to add to her affection for the Straw Hats. But I think a really important and heartwarming scene was the bonfire scene. These pages emitting the warmth of a joyful summer night in the manga, while radiating with a carefree jubilation in the anime. I believe it's these kinds of moments that make One Piece so special, and what can make it feel so personal. There's something extremely comforting about dancing around a bonfire with friends and, forest wolves? And that's why this is an important moment to share with Robin. Before the party starts, Robin even says, "We should put out any unnecessary fires, or we'll just be letting the enemy know of our position." It sounds like something standard for a previous Baroque Works agent, very tactful in how she thinks. But then she's confused when Luffy and Usopp tease her for it. Robin doesn't seem to think of something like a fire as anything more than a source of warmth and an indication of location. While she's technically right, a bonfire is made for celebration and enjoyment, and Robin being in the foreground of this page feels intentional. While she didn't join in, she's watching the Straw Hats dance around the fire and experiencing what is most probably her first ever bonfire. This is a moment of connection and community within the Straw Hats, and Robin is right there with them. And as the bonfire burns bright, a particular belief in Robin begins to burn as well. Even Long Ring Longland showed us Robin's relationship with the Straw Hats, properly integrating her into the crew the more we see. We see her dynamic with Nami, especially during the Davy Back fight, and something special is happening here. Maybe not special for you and me, but it's special for her. She's having fun. It's between the threats of danger, but she's having fun no less. And skipping these arcs completely removes the intricacies of her highest Water 7 moments, from her backstory to her emotional peak. And I think it's time we talk about the arc in full now. Water 7 is commended as one of One Piece's best arcs. There's plenty of reasons for it, with the conflict, the lessons, and the top character moments. Many shine during this arc, Usopp being just as important as Robin, with Sanji shining right next to them. He stood between Robin and Usopp throughout it, desperately trying to hold everyone together like a really messy glue. And his moment on the train is a standout. Except it's not because of the fights. Those were fun and pretty exceptional, don't get me wrong, but it wasn't his best point. Aside from his words to Usopp, his interaction with CP9 and Robin stays fresh in my mind, because Sanji gained crucial information that he could relay to the crew, while also having a very personal moment with Robin. Lucci tells Sanji who Robin really is, uses incredibly harsh words while explaining she's a demon child who the world would be better off without, and Sanji visibly breaks.
自分が消えることでしか人を幸せにできない、そういう不幸を背負っているんだ。本当に良かった。おい、いい加減にしろ。てめえ
He's outraged to hear this, completely uncaring of what she's ever done to receive that title, and begs Robin to come back. It's here Sanji discovers the Buster Call, discovers CP9 are using Robin's trauma to manipulate her, and Sanji calls them scum. And he's right, you have to be the lowest of the low to use someone's trauma against them. And Robin's care for the Straw Hats shines through when we discover she's actively facing her trauma just to keep the Straw Hats safe. It sounds very similar to Sanji's whole arc, doesn't it? We also discover Robin would let the world burn so long as the Straw Hats are out of harm's way, which is genuinely incredibly touching. Robin isn't someone who wants to sacrifice life, but if it's to keep those she loves safe, she will do all she can for them. From there, the Straw Hats fight with all their might to get her back, refusing to let such a despicable thing happen to their crewmate, and Robin seems totally placid in accepting all of this. It feels as if she's trying to disconnect herself, readying herself for her imprisonment and death, until actively panicking when hearing the Straw Hats chased her to Ennie's lobby. Upon facing Luffy again, Robin screams to leave her alone. She tells them she'll never return, that she doesn't want to see their faces again, and she just wants to die. This is, of course, a direct contrast of Robin's moment with Luffy and Alabasta. Luffy refusing to listen to her when demanding he let her die. But this time, instead of refusing to listen to her, Luffy asks what she's talking about. He can see it's an outright lie, but he still tells her, if you really want to die, you can do it after we save you, as if challenging her words. Luffy pushes that he's fine with whatever Robin wants. He'll let Robin pursue whatever wish she has, but tells her to do it by their side.
頼むからよロビン死ぬとかなんとか何言っても構わねえからよそういうことはお前俺たちのそばで言え
It's kind of weird having a captain say, it's fine if you want to die, but Luffy is reading right through her. Of course he doesn't want Robin to die. Of course he knows Robin doesn't truly want that. And this emotional tension in Robin is just about ready to snap. But before we get to the moment, I think it's time we discuss what that thing inside Robin is that I've been talking about. And for that, we need to dive into her backstory. As we all know at this point, Robin was born in Ohara. She lived on an island of scholars, archaeology being the main point of interest within Ohara, and this is how she learned how to read poneglyphs. But apart from her educational past, this also shows us her importance of family and relationship. Her mother, Olvia, wasn't present, and her aunt hated her guts. Kids all around her called her a monster and a freak, Robin honestly being labelled a devil even before government intervention. And this was a derogatory term that stuck with her for as long as she can remember. The only sanctuary she had was the Library of Ohara, Professor Clover and the other scholars being more of a family to her than anyone else, until stumbling upon Saul the Giant. This giant has a peculiar laugh Robin asks about, and he tells her that whenever times are tough or things are hard, to laugh it out. I also think it's interesting Saul's laugh is deda shi, while Luffy's tends to be shi. It's very possible there's no connection, but Luffy certainly embodies Saul's belief of laughing it out. So from what we can see, Robin was an unloved child. She had no friends, no loving blood family, and only the scholars cared for her. That is, until the Buster Call hits, and Robin only gets a few bittersweet moments with her mother before needing to run to safety. Between Saul and Olvia, she's told two very key things, both these things sticking with her forever. As Robin is torn away from her mother, Olvia, she yells that Robin needs to live, no matter what.
これからは私の分まで生きてロビン
From there, Saul sacrifices himself for Robin, and his final words are genuinely tear-jerking.
よく聞けロビン今は一人だけどもよいつか必ず仲間に会えるでよはあ海は広いんだでいつか必ずお前を守ってくれる仲間が現れるこの世に生まれて一人ぼっちなんてことは絶対にないんだで
And in his words, this something I've been talking about is placed in Robin. A belief she tries desperately to hold on to. A belief of hope. A lot of people compare Robin and Sanji as characters, and rightly so. There's a lot of similarities in their struggles and trauma, and many say they both had a lack of self-worth. While I still think that's partly true, I think there's a line drawn between them. While Sanji's struggle was with himself and his worth, Robin's was more with her hope of the seas, the world, and people. She wanted to stay alive for Olvia. She wanted to have hope that there were people on the seas who would befriend her and treat her like family. But she struggled greatly to believe in it. After all, Baroque Works wasn't like a family to her, but more of a place to stay safe. If she stuck with Crocodile, she could have found the poneglyph she was looking for, and even says Alabasta was her last hope. She continues to say she's exhausted, and that there are too many enemies in the way to achieve her dream, so she may as well just die. Out of hope and out of options, she decided to join the Straw Hats. And it's a possibility this is due to the miracle she watched Luffy achieve in Alabasta. She saw the Straw Hats' strength, she saw their care, and another small sense of hope may have been sparked in her. It's possible she joined them thinking they'd just be a final way to live the rest of her life. But when they brave the knock-up stream to arrive in Skypiea, what does Robin find? A Rio poneglyph, a piece of the puzzle she needed to discover the true history of the world. Her search had run dry in Alabasta, but now, through the Straw Hats, she's able to pick up her dream once more. This sense of hope is continuing to build. But it wasn't just her dream. The Straw Hats instilled within her a sense of safety and a sense of family. For nearly 28 years, Robin had lived a loveless life. A life where no one would protect her, defend her, or care for her. Anyone who had either vanished or died, and she was left all alone as a child to fend for herself. The government labeled her a devil child only because of her ability to read poneglyphs, which is something so wickedly vile the more you think about it. And from there, the world had it out for her. For over 20 years, she had no home, no friends, and no family. She had no way to find the poneglyphs, to live her mother's wish, nor believe in Saul's words. And from the beginning, her hope dwindled year by year. While it's possible Robin may have hated herself in some form, her sacrifice for the Straw Hats was due to them being the hope she'd finally found in her dark, harsh world. She didn't want to let the one good thing in her life die. She didn't want to lose anyone who cared for her ever again. And both Skypiea and Long Ring Longland built up this hope in her dream and her crew. So even though she's seen Luffy create miracles, she doesn't want to risk it. She hands herself over, accepting this as the end, until the shining light that is the Straw Hats stand in front of her once more. They take down the flag of the government, making it go up in flames to show their devotion for Robin. The Straw Hats turning the world against them for her sake. She stares in shock, coming to the realization that it's not only just her against the world anymore. A complete act of love she hadn't felt since seeing her mother again. From Alabasta to Skypiea to Long Ring Longland. That hope was building. It grew within Robin since first meeting Luffy. That despairing sorrow fading each day she was with the Straw Hats. As if finally seeing the light at the end of the tunnel, and instead of standing there staring at it, she runs towards it. Her faith was finally reaching its peak. Her hope ready to burst from her wounded heart, until finally...
私は生きたい。私も一緒に海へ連れてって。
It explodes in a beautiful scene of love and acceptance, her tears and her words washing over the audience with a sense of relief. And in that moment, she shines with the Straw Hats. It's masterfully done, and we watch Robin grab her dream and her life once more with a newfound passion. And it's all due to the hope her friends, her family, have given her through their care. Water 7 had probably one of the most therapeutic endings to an arc. Every broken point being mended back together in a healthier, stronger way. Through all of this, it's no wonder a lot of people see Water 7 as One Piece's best arc. Robin's development from here on out comes from her love for her crew, the Straw Hats continuing to be the source of her passion for her life and dream. We must remember Robin is not a fighter, she is an archaeologist. first. And any new moves and strategies we see from her in battle comes from the strength to protect her crew. Wano was especially a strong example of this. Her will to protect Sanji leading her to fighting Black Maria. I've explained in my Sanji video why this moment was so important for Sanji, but for Robin, being relied on by those she loves most makes her literally radiate in a pink glow. For her whole life, she's had those she loves protect her, from Ohara to Water 7, and Wano gives her the ability to finally be the one to fight for them. She was done with running from her problems, from danger, and from her loved ones, and Sanji believed in her protection. For someone like Robin, who's had to witness those she loved die because she couldn't do anything to help them, I can only imagine this would have been cathartic for her. It was a healing moment for Robin and Sanji, as both have learnt what it means to allow themselves to rely on their crew. And to top it all off, the name Robin had previously despised comes back around. The Devil Child. Nico Robin fully accepts that label because she is happy to be a devil for her friends. If she needs to be a devil to keep her crew safe, so be it. And it's a source of pride for her now. Robin's heart had been battered and bruised, but with the Straw Hats, those are now only scars of the past. She embraces her strength, her abilities, and shines with a sense of hope. I'm not sure what will come of Robin next, as the current arc seems to be turning into a somewhat Robin-centered arc, but I cannot wait to see more of her. We're already watching her show more emotion, something she previously wouldn't or even couldn't show due to the harsh life she lived. And it's clear Robin has never been happier. She can finally open herself up. And just like other members of the crew, she's healing from her traumatic past. Very slowly, Robin is continuing to develop and change, and she's truly an irreplaceable character in my heart. But more than that, she's an irreplaceable member of the Straw Hats, and nothing anyone says can ever change that. And with that, thanks for watching. I love all of the Straw Hats, but Robin has always been a favorite of mine in terms of character moments and interactions. I hope I managed to bring across what makes her so special to me, and why her writing was so well done. I'd also like to thank everyone who participated in my mini poll in regards to who they wanted to see the most. I'm sorry it was such a hard choice for a lot of you, but it was a hard choice for me too. There's tons I want to talk about, and sometimes I'm stuck in a stalemate of what to pick. So that poll really helped me decide on what to do. As always, let me know what you think. All the Robin fans I've talked to tend to be lovely, as they just want justice for their favorite cool lady, which I totally understand. Just a quick reminder that I do have a Patreon, and if you would like to support me there, I'd really appreciate it. However, I know not everyone can support me in that way, and watching and sharing these videos does more than you can imagine for me. If there's anything you'd like to see me cover, One Piece or otherwise, please let me know, and I'll see you in whatever I make next. See ya!